because ever since I started, it's just been effortless, you know? And it's just been going and going and going, and I've never stopped. So there was no sagging your pants, walking with a certain way, talking a certain way. There was yes, ma'am, yes, sir. It was open the door. It was very structured.
Those traditional values.
Yeah. Having the understanding that not everybody is you. Not everybody was raised like you. Not everybody comes from where you came from.
Right.
And so having that.
What an honor we have with us today, DeVory Darkins. Not unfamiliar to most of you, but what an honor. We are at AmericaFest 2025. Yours is the most popular booth over there, and it has to do with the persona. Before we get into what you're doing, what's happening right now,
Yes.
bring us inform our audience as to how did you get here?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for obviously having me. Very grateful to be here. I think this event, I mean, you've been here personally, you've seen, it's crazy. So definitely attend next year if you can. But what got me here is definitely the grace of God, because this has been a calling for me, essentially. How do I know that? Is because ever since I started, it's just been effortless, you know? And it's just been going and going and going, and I've never stopped. And so I definitely owe some credit to my wife, because she kept asking me to get into politics. She kept saying, why don't you do your own show? Why don't you do your own channel? And I'd always be like, no, I don't want to do politics. It's
was
toxic.
it because you talk about it a lot and
Yes.
she'd hear you? It's like that was
Yeah.
where you're, okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
she saw that in you. So that fire was there already.
Yes,
okay.
exactly. And I would tell her, you know, I don't want that toxic, you know, because that's the initial perception.
Yeah.
Now I have a totally different point of view on it, but eventually what happened, I was sitting down watching a rally from the president. Then he was running for the next president, Donald J. Trump. Butler rally, July 13th last year. And it was interesting because it was the only rally where I actually watched from the beginning all the way to the end. Usually I just watch the clips. You know, you fast forward.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you know what, today I'm just going to sit down and actually listen to the whole thing. And I saw the assassination attempt live, and I was like, you know what, I'm going live right now. And when I did, I didn't stop. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
As you said, there is part of what you're saying is, I love that you're aware of the divine influence.
Yeah.
It is a still small voice, but it is audible to those that are saying, here I am, Lord, right?
Yeah, right.
Tell us about your spiritual journey.
Yeah, you know, I would say that I think the best way to put it is both of my parents were drug addicts. So when I was born, I had to be adopted. And I was adopted by my grandmother's sister. So she's like my great aunt, technically.
Yeah.
So I had a different upbringing than most, is my point. And I didn't have a father, and so a lot of my childhood was a lot of resistance, a lot of pain, a lot of trouble that I got into. And then I joined the military, and they kind of became my parents in a sense, right? And throughout my entire 20s, I went through what most people are going to go through if they have a single parent, a lot of anger, a lot of confusion. At any rate, I finally got to 30 and I realized, why am I so angry? It's like, it's not, I didn't make this choice. My parents made that choice. They're the ones who should be angry, right? And I started learning what forgiveness really looks like. And I got that from Christ himself, you know. And forgiveness is not just letting go. And some people would say, don't forget. But essentially, forgiveness, in my opinion, is for you so you can move forward. And that really helped me as just on an individual level. And I think it's what brought me to this point today.
Wow, what a powerful story. And I tend to agree with you. Since Christ is love, God is love, right?
Exactly.
It's the most powerful force in the universe. It's what kept them clinging to the cross.
Exactly.
When all else within him, humanly speaking,
Right.
is, Lord, take this cup from me.
Right.
But it was love that took them and kept them on the cross, right? I think the second most powerful gift the Lord has given us is it's the request that he says, forgive.
Right.
And it isn't for the other necessarily,
Right.
isn't it? It's a healing of self.
Exactly.
It's taking that balm of Gilead for the soul, right, so to speak. So how did you learn forgiveness, and how hard or difficult was it for you to, because sometimes it's over a period of time. How was that for you?
You know, I'm a very, I would say, common sense type of guy. So I think the outcomes are what drives my opinion a lot.
Yeah.
And the results for me in my own life showed me where when you fail to forgive, you're poisoning yourself essentially. You're getting in your own way of what God wants you to be focused on. Now, obviously, we have to go through that journey of pain because that's part of the whole growth process. But I would say that was probably what helped me is realizing that it was getting in my way, and so I studied, essentially like what is forgiveness? What does it exactly look like? Not forgiveness that you hear on social media, but like going to people who wrote about, things like this. And the biggest thing I took away every time was like, it's not only for you, it's healing, but it's also leaving yourself and that other person better off. And you can't really move forward if you don't technically let go, right? And let God handle it. And so that's kind of what happened for me.
Thank you so much for sharing that personal,
Yeah.
because we certainly have a tie-in to AmericaFest and
Yes.
the concept of forgiveness from Erica Kirk
Yeah,
that
yes.
really shook the nation.
Of course.
In a way that many people were either blindsided,
Yes.
unprepared. I know some people that were almost angry and saying,
Of course.
how could she do that, right? And this sort of thing. But I think you went to the heart of it and what it does in sort of healing. But it is a call to the Christian, isn't it? So was this just prior to you getting into your political front-facing path?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was much earlier than that. In fact, it was the process I had to go through that helped me do life coaching for people. So it kind of all worked out perfectly because I spent 13 years in the military. I got out
Okay.
and then went through this journey.
Got it.
Yeah, and then it led me
So
to
you were, and again, thank you for your service.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
How significant was your military career in forging your future?
I think a lot of the way that I break things down on my show is because of the military. So I was an
You mean the structure of
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was an instructor in the military for quite a bit, and that's kind of how I get a lot of the way I present things to people. I get it from that. So played a huge role.
All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Some people have me at the SWOT analysis, right? And I'm like, I got you. So
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
Wonderful to have that structure and so on. I'm also really impressed that you had a partner and your wife saw
Yes.
something in you.
Yes.
And what a blessing to have people, and in particular in a marriage, your spouse who recognizes and encourages, and maybe even when things were difficult, she was there to say, go do this, this is your calling.
Right.
Without her influence on that, would you be here today?
I don't know. Because I still believe it always comes back to God. I think He was going to move me anyway.
Yes.
And I think she was part of it. And if it wasn't her saying that, I don't know. But I think He would have taken care of it one way or another.
All right. I love that answer.
Because He has a unique way of doing things in our lives every day. So.
All things work together for good, but it's His
Yeah.
way, not our way, right?
Exactly.
I love that. So, you're considered a conservative political
Yes.
voice.
Yeah.
What led you into the conservative space versus the middle, left, or
Yeah.
something? What were the influences there?
Well, it's everything we just talked about. I honestly believe when you study spirituality, when you study the human performance, the way the mind works, if we want to maximize our potential on this planet, it actually comes back to a lot of conservative principles.
Yeah.
The whole mindset is literally the same: self-responsibility, self-awareness, right? Policing up your own community, your own house. Being the example of what you want to see, right? Leading by example. So my mother, of course, she was definitely, I would say, conservative because she was born in 1933, the woman who adopted me. So, she had a different style of parenting that I would say was extremely conservative.
Sure.
So there was no sagging your pants, walking with a certain way, talking a certain way. There was yes, ma'am, yes, sir. It was open the door. It was very structured.
Those traditional values.
Yeah, and then combine that with the military.
Okay.
It was kind of, So that's why I have a little bit of empathy for people who may not initially see the conservative way yet, because I know that's just part of my experience, my
Right.
upbringing. But I still believe inherently, whether it's at the highest level of government or at the local level, we have to have some level of conservatism involved, because I
Right.
do believe they provide the guardrails in our society. Yeah.
And I love that. The guardrail certainly is there, right? And
Yeah.
without that,
Yeah.
we can live in a precarious society where we almost felt the conservative movement was almost finished.
Yes.
It seemed that way, didn't it?
Yeah.
But God, I
Yeah.
suppose, as that's the way I look at that. But
Yeah.
what is your voice from today forward? What are you messaging? What do you want your audience to hear or to learn from you?
Yeah, I think there's a few things here. Number one is, let's put common ground ahead of our need to be right. So right now in our political discourse, there's no question on the left, it's their need to be right that is blinding them from finding common ground with us. I don't want us to make the same mistake. I don't think we can convince everybody of everything, but I do know that we can find common ground, which could lead to significant progress in our society. So let's not sacrifice progress because we don't agree on one thing over here. So I think that's a big thing for me. I think secondly is it's important to agree to disagree, and you do that by hearing both sides and using your critical thinking skills to come up with your own conclusion. I think that is very important. And just really quickly, I want to go back. Common ground does not mean you're compromising your values, okay, and what you believe in. What it means is we're still American citizens at the end of the day. We've got to fight the good fight, but we also can't do it in the name of sacrificing the people to our left and right as we do it, okay? For an example, we don't want to be what Democrats are currently today, which is burn it all down
Yeah.
in the name of saving it, okay? So that's why I say as conservatives, we can't make that same mistake. And then two, looking at what both sides are saying and then doing your own thinking. And then three, leading with grace. This is what Christ has called us to do. So grace does not mean that you're making excuses for people or you're buying into what they're saying, but it's just having the understanding that not everybody is you. Not everybody was raised like you. Not everybody comes from where you came from.
Right.
And so having that grace for people that, hey, maybe you are confused. I'm not going to call you an evil person and hate you for that. What I'm going to do is share my truth with you. And a lot of it is the objective truth, might I add. And I'm going to pray for you and hope I am that first step to leading you in a better direction. So those are a few things.
And when it's undergirded with grace, right?
Yeah.
That's the fragrance of Christ.
Yes.
As we land this year, and I pointed out AmericaFest 2025, we feel the energy.
Yeah.
There's so many people that couldn't get in. There are even people that, I don't know if you heard this, that showed up knowing they couldn't get in just to be in the ether of it.
Oh.
Right?
Right, that's crazy.
And we do have also in the excitement and the camaraderie, the meeting up and the empowering one another
Yes.
to level up together collectively, and all these things that we're looking to do.
Yes.
The energy is great, but it's also a somber time. It's almost like there was a chair empty at the table.
Of course.
And we
Yeah.
all feel that as well, and
Yes.
I see that love and respect for Charlie.
Yes.
One of the things that he spoke about is spot on to what you were saying.
Yes.
He would say communication unites everybody,
Yes.
right? Which ironically, Q broadcast stands for communication unites
wow.
everybody.
Okay.
That's where
I
that
love that.
Q comes from.
Yeah.
Conversely, he would say lack of communication is a set of potential for violence.
Yes.
And he's not wrong.
Yes.
He wasn't wrong in that, because we see that happening. So that communication
Right.
also, as you said, the common ground finds the humanity in the other person.
Exactly.
Not the difference. So you're not defined
Right.
by the difference. I'm not threatened by it.
Yeah.
We can understand, we can agree to disagree at
Exactly.
the least.
Yeah.
Right? So I'd love that you do that. And that makes so much sense as to why your audience has grown into 7 figures and you're making an impact. And we continue praying for what I call your ministry.
Yes.
Because
Thank
it
you.
is that.
Thank
It
you.
is your. Thank you for being obedient to the calling.
appreciate
You're making a difference for all of us in ways that one day on the other side of eternity, people will come up and say, DeVory, thank you.
Yes.
And you're all, do I know you? No, but you said or did or facilitated something that allowed me to be here.
I appreciate
What a
that.
great gift, right, to be in that.
Yes,
How
sir.
can people find you?
Yeah.
And if they need to look at, how do they not know you, but how can they find you if
No,
they're,
it's
if
no
they're looking
problem.
for you?
Yeah, definitely our show is on YouTube and Rumble, the DeVory Darkins Show. I think you'll link the stuff in the below this video. I'm the only person with its name, so it won't be hard to find me. I will tell
Right.
you that. And we are on X as well, but you'll find me most of the time on YouTube. Yes.
Okay, great. And just so you know, so you guys don't get mad at us, we're going to be talking about having him on linear television with us, and we're in communication about that, and we'll look to see, and we believe that there's going to be a good match. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time. It's
Absolutely.
a pleasure and an honor to meet such an upstanding human being that leaves a fragrance of
Thank
pride.
you.
So I've been touched. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
appreciate
God
you.
bless you, sir.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you.